about the country's unemployment rate, and she alluded to the fact that yes, indeed, unemployment rate is on the ascendancy, but the government headed by President John Dramani Mahama, citing a litany of initiatives, is trying as much as possible to mitigate the unemployment crisis in the country. She also urged the applicants who have amassed here to exercise patience, and that each and every one of them will fairly have their turn. And so those who have been asked to go home should be able to do so without protesting, for the lack of better expression. There are some ambulances around here. Some ambulances here, and the media is not allowed into the inner perimeter, but the ambulance just came out of the inner perimeter where the application or the registration process is ongoing, and we want to get close to see what the information we are picking is that a few persons were earlier rushed, but like I stated, the military hierarchy are tight-lipped about that information. So the entire stretch from the El-Wak Sports Stadium to getting to the main 37 intersection that leads to part leading to Circle and Airport are all, it's animated with human beings. If you ask me, it's a mammoth here. They all want to have their turn into the inner perimeter so they could just have, their registration processes gone through. Let me try and speak to a number of the applicants here. That is, if they are willing to speak, so that we understand why they are still hanging around, even though they've been asked to go or return home. I'm still coming to you live from the El-Wak Sports Stadium, where the Ghana Armed Forces is conducting its 2025 military recruitment exercise. The exercise is essentially focused on documentation and body selection process, and it is expected to span today to 12 to 13 November 2025, and it's happening across all regions. So what you are seeing here is being replicated across all 16 regions, but because this is Greater Accra region, the numbers here are expected. I want to try and get across the streets where the applicants are still waited with bated breath. Hopefully they have their turn. Yes, so this is just right behind me. You see a number of them. They have lined up, and this is where they can possibly wait, because when they get closer to the entrance, the main frontage of the El-Wak Sports Stadium, the military have asked them to not. The military have, prevented them from waiting along that part of the stretch. So they are resting here, waiting with bated breath. Hopefully they get their turn, and then to go through the registration process. I'm not sure if... Hi, would you want to speak to me? Yeah, my name is Fal. You're on CTFM ChannelOne TV.
My name is also Inusa, Ibrahim Inusa.
Okay. Where did you come from to be here?
Me, I come from Agogo.
Say again?
Agogo.
Agogo. That's in the Ashanti region. You came from the Ashanti region to Accra. And what time did you get here? And have you been through the process yet?
7:30 o'clock here.
7 a.m. 30. Yeah. And what have they been saying, or what have you been encountering ever since you got here?
We came here, more people here, they will not enter. They will not let us enter. That's why you're also standing for interview.
But they said you are supposed to be done in batches, and some were asked to come tomorrow, but you have all come here today and they are overwhelmed with their numbers. Why wouldn't you return and possibly come on the date that you have been scheduled to do so?
We all know that, but sometimes you will let them, some of them enter. That's why you're also waiting for whether they will call us or will also enter for it. That's why we are standing for it.
We are standing here with the hopes that they will eventually let you in.
By the grace of God, we are hope. We are also enter.
Okay. Thank you very much. And so, like you said, he says that he's keeping his fingers crossed. He mentioned that some have been allowed to enter, and so he's also hoping that eventually he will have his own turn to enter and then go through the process. He mentioned that he came all the way from Ashanti, Achim, Agogo. Well, this exercise is being replicated in parts of the country, but just a quick one. I want to understand or find out from you why you came here, because the exercise is happening in other parts of the country.
Please, you say what?
I'm asking that this exercise is being replicated in other parts of the country. It's not just here in El-Wak. So why did you have to leave all the way from the Ashanti region to come here to go through this process?
Me are interested here. That's why I came here. I interested here. That's why I came here.
Is this the first time you're applying for recruitment? This is your first time?
That's my first time.
Thank you. All the best.
Thanks.
Okay. So
the issue with the Stampede.
They are not throwing in the towel at all. Yes. Hello. Yes. You want to speak to me? Okay.
Hello, Fauzu. Fauzu, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can.
Good. I'm finding out from you the reports we got that 6 reported dead at El-Wak Sports Stadium following the Stampede as the recruitment exercise is ongoing. What has been the update? Has any official spoken about it? What can you tell us about that?
No official has spoken to it yet. They are titled. We try to speak to the military hierarchy. They are titled. The Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Kwelo-Okulu, when she came, she was also asked, and she says that she's not in the know. That information has not been confirmed to her as yet. But you see a vehicle with military police inscribed on it, with some individuals parked at the back of the vehicle. We do not know really possibly we get to find out whether they have committed any crime or not. But the camera is able to show some of those who have amassed there being carried or being waked away in the police military vehicle. So Philip, that's really the situation here at the El-Wak Sports Stadium.
Wow.
Where
but that's a very sad situation there, and I'm sure you witnessed what happened when the 6 reportedly dead happened. Kindly share with us details of what really happened at that place, and let's understand from you how this came about.
So Philip, it is densely crowded. If you ask me, there is earlier there was literally no breathing space. They were packed. That's the best word to use here. Except that a while ago the military or the servicemen available had to come in to control or to disperse them of a sort. So if humans are packed at one place for a very long time, they're not even having access to breathe fresh air and what have you. Definitely we know what this implications could be. So the numbers that I've thrown here at the El-Wak Sports Stadium is really not healthy, if you ask me, because it is very scorchy here. So being exposed to the sun, standing for very long hours and what have you, and being packed in this manner, it's not something that one is supposed to go through. But like one of them who I spoke to mentioned, they say that they are still waiting around with bated breath, hoping that they would have their turn. They mentioned the fact that some have been allowed into the inner perimeter of the El-Wak Sports Stadium where registration is ongoing, and so they are only hopeful that, like their colleagues who have been allowed access to go through the process, they would also go through that process. So even though we are concerned as journalists and even the nation at large, what this, the threats of the current situation is particularly to them, they in a way are still, pushing and pressing on, that they still want to go through the process, even though some have been asked to go and come back tomorrow. I don't know what it is, but they have taken that with a pinch of salt. They say they still want to hang around and go back. But hopefully we will get to the bottom of this and have something more substantive to work with.
And exactly, the Ghana Armed Forces has released a statement on this, so you would want to stay a bit with us so that we read the statement out to our viewers. As you also page the place, and eventually you give us a vivid description of how the entire place is looking like. There is a statement from the Ghana Armed Forces on the Stampede during the Ghana Armed Forces recruitment exercise at El-Wak Sports Stadium. And with this particular statement coming from the Ghana Armed Forces, as it reads, the Ghana Armed Forces deeply regrets to inform the general public of a tragic stampede prior to the commencement of the 2025-2026 recruitment exercise today, Wednesday, 12 November 2025, at the El-Wak Sports Stadium here in Accra. Preliminary investigations indicate that the stampede was triggered by an unexpected surge of applicants who breached security protocol and rushed into the gates ahead of the scheduled screening at about 6:20 hours. That is 06:20 hours. It is unfortunate. The unfortunate incident led to the death of 6 potential recruits and many others injured. The injured are currently receiving emergency medical care at the 37 Military Hospital. The Ghana Armed Forces assures the general public that medical teams are working tirelessly to stabilize affected individuals. Meanwhile, arrangements are being made to notify the families of the deceased. The Ghana Armed Forces extends its deepest condolences to the families of the deceased and wishes a swift recovery to those injured. Further update will be communicated to the general public. So this is the information coming from the Ghana Armed Forces, stating what really the issue is. So maybe I would want to share with you again a statement coming from the Ghana Armed Forces following what is happening at the El-Wak Sports Stadium, and a statement which indicates that the Ghana Armed Forces deeply regrets to inform the general public of a tragic stampede prior to the commencement of the 2025-2026 recruitment exercise today, Wednesday, 12 November 2025, at the El-Wak Sports Stadium here in Accra. Preliminary investigations indicate that the stampede was triggered by an unexpected surge of applicants who breached security protocols and rushed into the gates ahead of the scheduled screening at about 06:20 hours. The unfortunate incident led to the death of 6 potential recruits and many others injured. The injured are currently receiving emergency medical care at the 37 Military Hospital. The Ghana Armed Forces assures the general public that the medical team are working tirelessly to stabilize affected individuals. Meanwhile, arrangements are being made to notify the families of the deceased. The Ghana Armed Forces extends its deepest condolences to the families of the deceased and wishes a swift recovery to those injured. Further updates will be communicated in due time. So let's go back to my colleague, Fauzu Masawudu, who we understand has now gotten the chance to enter into the stadium proper to bring us updates what is happening at the place. If you are just joining us, is the recruitment exercise that we are monitoring, which is happening at the El-Wak Sports Stadium here in Accra around 37, and we are bringing you updates. The sad story that is coming up is that 6 individuals are reported dead, and the Ghana Armed Forces has actually confirmed this incident, which is a very sad one. But Fauzu, if you are there with us and you can hear us, paint a picture for us what is happening at the stadium now, and how many individuals you can say are currently or have been allowed to enter the stadium proper. Okay, so we are trying to work around the lines to get Fauzu to connect to us so we can have conversations with him on that. And the sad news that is coming in is that the 6 individuals have been confirmed dead, and this is a report coming from the Ghana Armed Forces following a recruitment exercise that is happening at the El-Wak Sports Stadium. in the statement that was issued by the Ghana Armed Forces indicated that, well, prior to the scheduled exercise today, some individuals had to go ahead, and that's also led to this incident. But Fauzu is joining us again. Fauzu, you have gotten the chance to enter the stadium proper. Let's hear from you what really the details is and paint a picture for us as you've entered the stadium.
Yeah, Philip, now we've had access into the inner part of the stadium where the applicants are waiting to have their turn and then to go through the registration process. A number of them, I must say, are seated on the ground with military presence heavily here. We will possibly get, so there are partitions here. So there is a waiting place. There is a part that you are expected to go for documentation, and then there is this process that you also have to go through for them to determine your height, other medicals, and what have you. So this is the first part where you would have to wait, and then when you are called, you move, and then you keep moving till you are done with the entire process. So this is the situation here at the inner part of the El-Wak Sports Stadium, where the Ghana military is conducting its recruitment for the 2025 service year. Try and see if we can again speak to those who have had access to inside the inner perimeter. Hi, can I speak to you briefly? Hi. You're live on ChannelOne TV. What's your name?
My name is El-Wak Evans.
Say again.
El-Wak Evans.
El-Wak Evans. Watson Evans. Also, are you in Accra here? Or you came from another region?
I came from Eastern region.
From Eastern region?
Yeah, please. Okay.
Fortunately, you have had access to be here, to come inside. Have you been through the process already?
Not yet. I'm about to. Yes.
So, what have they been saying? What have the military hierarchy been telling those of you who are waiting here?
We are just waiting. They say we should just wait. They'll be calling us one after the other. So after that, you just have to get your submit sheet ready. They scan it, then you are good to go.
Yeah. So you're hopeful that by close of today, you go through the entire process peacefully, so that you didn't have to return tomorrow.
I have no choice. I'm waiting. If I'm able to go through, fine. If not, then I have to wait for tomorrow. Yes.
Okay. But why the service though?
Say?
Why join the military?
I have the zeal for it, willing to join too. Yeah. Ready to do anything for my nation. So, yeah.
Okay. So for you, it's been peaceful here.
Peaceful. Yeah.
All right, all the best as you wait to go through the process. So, so like I stated earlier, those waited around this area are those who are yet to go through the process properly. You wait at this point till you hear your name. Once you hear your name, then you go to the first point of contact, and then you keep moving until your turn. I want to engage some more people if they're ready. Hi, you are live on ChannelOne TV. I just want to engage you briefly, if you don't mind. Okay, she wouldn't want to utter a word, but we are still here at the inner perimeter of the El-Wak Sports Stadium, where the military is conducting its 2025 recruitment for applicants. About 12,000 of them, we understand, have applied to join the service, and they are waiting with bated breath for their turn. Hopefully they get to go through the process finally. Hi boss, you want to speak to me briefly just to have your thought on what the process has so far been for you?
What I want to say is this thing has been really been a headache to us. Then we are not expecting this number of people to be present here, but it seems like the youth, everyone is in need of this particular work. And then so far I was here around 11, that was 11 p.m. to now. They haven't yet attended to me.
You came here yesterday 11 p.m.
Yes, I was here around 11 there. Yeah, they haven't attended to me.
And you've been waiting throughout 11 p.m. yesterday?
It's almost 11 p.m. It's almost 12 o'clock now. Yeah, so you can just imagine the kind of stress I've been through. Yes, still no one is attending to it. So,
what have they been saying? What have the military been telling you?
Oh, they are just trying to let us be in another whereby they can just pick a group of people and they'll just go and do their own for them. So since morning, some of us will just be on the sun. We are unlucky. Let me put it that way. We have been unlucky, so they haven't called us yet. So we are just hoping that they'll just call some of us so that we just finish and go back home.
Have you eaten?
No, I drank water.
There is information about some of your colleagues, some passing away, some, sustaining injuries and all of that. Does that scare you?
Yeah.
Or frighten you?
I witnessed one. Yeah. And then as of now, the girl is always on my eyes, although I don't know her. Yeah, but I can see she's really out of breath. She's just trying to hold my neck, and I was also suffering. They've tried pulling her out of the crowd, but it's not going. Behold, someone also pulled me. I don't know where their hand came from. I just thank God Almighty that I'm still alive.
Wow. So you witnessed the moment leading to her passing when she was rushed to the hospital?
Yeah, I was not there when they were rushing her, but I saw her when she was just about to lose her life.
Wow.
I can also do about it because I was also suffering. It got to it, I don't know where my documents, my bags were.
Yeah. This should be traumatizing.
Yeah, like that's what I'm going through right now. I feel like I'm also a dead person right now. Yeah, because what I saw in the morning was too much. Yeah, what I saw in the morning was too much. So that's it. I just don't want to talk about it. Anytime so I talk about it, I always see the girl in my eyes. I don't know. Although I don't know her. Yeah, but
are you also in Accra here, or you came from a different part of the country?
I'm in Accra. Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, so you hearing from the horse's own mouth, one of the applicants here who has shared a rather traumatizing experience. He mentioned that he saw firsthand. He actually encountered firsthand events leading to one of the casualties that have been reported here at the El-Wak Sports Stadium, and he says that he's frightened for his own life. He's been here since yesterday 11 p.m. he tells me, and he has not had any proper meal. He says that even today he's not had anything. He's on an empty stomach waiting for bated breath just to go through this process of joining the military to serve his country, Ghana. There are lots of questions that needs to be asked, but maybe on a later day. For now, we are still bringing you live images here at the El-Wak Sports Stadium, where the military is conducting its 2025 recruitment exercise. These applicants are expected to go through documentation and other, requisition or requirements for them to be able to successfully join the Ghana Armed Forces. It's not a pleasant experience here, if you ask me. Not at all. And one shouldn't be made to go through this only to service or a nation. But this is what the situation has presented. A number of them, a mammoth, are outside, they're waiting to come inside. And even for those who are fortunate to have access to the inner perimeter, they say they have been waiting here for hours unattended to.
Okay, so Fauzu, from what the information you've gathered
here at the El-Wak Sports Stadium, not a pleasant.
Fauzu, can you hear me?
And we'll still want to get closer and engage some more of them if they would also share their experiences here at the military, I beg your pardon, at the El-Wak Sports Stadium, where they are waiting to have their turn. Some have come from parts of the country, and even though this exercise is also going on in other parts of the country, some have moved from wherever they are to here in Accra for obvious reasons and go through this experience. But the justification also from the military side is that they have asked them to come on their scheduled date, but some of them just decided to come here today, even though they have not been scheduled to do so. They have still come here, and good. That with the hopes that at least they will have their own turn to go through this, this whole process.
Hello, Fauzu.
We asked the regional minister, Greater Accra.
Fauzu, I'm sure you can hear me.
Earlier, whether this whole situation paints a picture of the country's worsening unemployment rates, especially amongst the youth. And she alluded to the fact that the country's unemployment rate, especially among the youth, it's really nothing to write home about. But the government, led by the President John Dramani Mahama, is trying as much as possible to, curtail or mitigate this unemployment crisis. And she mentioned a number of initiatives that have been introduced by the government. But the numbers that you are seeing here clearly tells you that a lot of them here really, they just want a means to survive. They want to serve their own country, and that they have the passion to do so. But then they say that why should their zeal or passion to serve their own nation be characterized or be met with such, for the lack of better expression, torture? But there's been also justification from the military, even though they have expressed remorse over the casualties that were recorded earlier here.
Hello,
even though they have expressed remorse about the casualties that were recorded earlier, and that they are trying as much as possible to prevent a recurrence moving forward.
Hello, Fauzu.
Yeah.
So I want to find out from you, from the conversation you had with the gentleman there who had to recount or give his account, that sad incident. Will you say that the exercise has started? For which reason people have started participating in it, and if you can take us to that side at the stadium where maybe the exercise has started and people are going through the documentation process and all that.
All right, so technically the exercise has started, and like the young man alluded to the fact that he's been here for hours, and the crowd is rather moving at a snail's pace. So even though it has started, you would have to take a while for you to actually go through the process. You would have to wait at this space or at this designated area. Once you hear your name, you keep moving to the first point of contact, keep moving until you get to the last point. So really that is what the situation has been here. The exercise has technically started, but it is moving at a snail's pace, and that is really troubling for these applicants, like they have mentioned to me in interviews that I've had with them. So yes, essentially the exercise is underway, but it's moving at a snail's pace.
So will you want to take us close to it and let's see what really the exercise entails, and why maybe it's moving very slowly?
Yeah, so now I want to get to the registration point really to see for myself, or to observe what really is causing or accounting for these delays. So if the camera is able to come closer, I want to inch closer to really, even though there's been a path that has been prohibited from accessing, I will still want to try as much as possible to see if we could, so to speak, create any magic. That means that we would have to walk through some of them literally. The camera could do some justice for us. So yes, the military here are briefing. They are briefing the applicants on what to do, and a few housekeeping rules, so to speak. And then let's see if we can get some sound.
Let's go.
Okay. So once you are called, you would go with the man, the military personnel, and then he will show you to where exactly you need to start from. So this is a queue. You can see one of them who is at the back of the queue limping, and that clearly tells you that she's been exhausting. It's been exhausting for them. And so across the barricade, if the camera is able to give us that shot, across the barricade is another queue, and that is where the actual registration is ongoing. So once you wait here, you'll be called, and then in turns you head to where the registration is ongoing, and then you go through the entire process. When you are done, you leave to make way for others to also occupy the space you left off. So really, that's the situation here at the El-Wak Sports Stadium in Accra, where the military is conducting its recruitment exercise for the 2025 service year. The exercise essentially is targeting documentation and body selection. And just a quick one, prior to this exercise, these applicants had to apply online. A portal was opened, and it spanned from 1st October to November 7, after which it was extended for a short while. And the applicants you are seeing here are those who have been shortlisted from the online registration process. So you can imagine that if there weren't anything as shortlisting, the numbers that would have thronged, this place. So that's just, and the military has also been heavy on ensuring that no issue of fraud or whatsoever like has been recorded in the past occurs again. And so that has also been part of this whole recruitment process for the 2025 service year. The military has been very heavy on sensitizing applicants on being defrauded or whatsoever. There is a number of eligibility requirements that you have to go through. So these individuals who are waiting with bated breath to take their turn, you must ensure that you meet these eligibility requirements. You know that with educational background, they have their own cutoff points with BEC, with WASI, and what have you. Even with nationality, it's very important that you are Ghanaian, your marital status, and what have you. Also age limits, and we know that the age limits differs really from non-tradesmen and then the tradesmen. So these applicants who are weighted here are largely supposed to meet these requirements. So it means that these processes that you are going through are not necessarily cast in stone. You can wait here for hours and days, but if you do not meet the requirements, then it amounts to zilch. But a number of those we have spoken to are very optimistic that they are here ready, and that they indeed meet these requirements, and so they should just be allowed to go through the process smoothly, devoid of the eventualities that have marred the process, so to speak, so far. One man, like you mentioned earlier, one of the applicants specifically mentioned that it's a traumatizing experience seeing for himself events leading to the unaliving of one of the prospective military men or the applicants. It's really not a good thing, and he says that he's even frightened or he's scared for his own life. So Philip, this has been the situation here at the El-Wak Sports Stadium. Again, where the armed forces is conducting its 2025 military recruitment process. I just want to add again that earlier the Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Akwele-Oklu, who by the way serves as chairperson for the Regional Security Council, that's RECSEC, also stopped by to observe or monitor the process, and she spoke to these applicants and urged them to exercise some patience and wait till it's their turn. Those who have been asked to go home should kindly do so and return tomorrow as they have been directed to do so. But some of them have really taken this directive with a pinch of salt or with little optimism. They say that once their colleagues have been allowed access into the inner perimeter, then there is also hope for them. So they are waiting out there, not because they have been given some assurances, but because they hope they would be called.
Fauzu, thank you so much for your time, and keep monitoring events for us there. Fauzu Masawodo reporting live from the El-Wak Sports Stadium, where thousands of applicants or young individuals have converged to go through the recruitment process by the Ghana Armed Forces to get into the force. But this sad news that rather came as a result of what is happening there is the stampede during the Ghana Armed Forces recruitment exercise at El-Wak Sports Stadium, and the Ghana Armed Forces issued a statement confirming 6 individuals that have passed on and others who have also sustained various degrees of injuries. But then again, the Ghana Armed Forces says that, well, they are ensuring that the individuals who have sustained various degrees of injuries are responding to treatment. Meanwhile, they also put their condolences out there to the bereaved families. Mind you, we'll be keeping our eyes and our cameras on this rather disturbing news coming from El-Wak Sports Stadium, where thousands of applicants are there to get to go through the recruitment process by the Ghana Armed Forces. I am Philip Nilati. Many thanks for staying with us here on ChannelOne TV. Keep watching ChannelOne TV, because at 12 we will bring you an update of